Hello there. This is Lee McQueen with another primary season or election update. Well, I guess it is a primary update because there's still two more primaries to go. The Washington, D.C. primary, which is on June 14th, which is Tuesday. And then also the superdelegate primary, which is July 25th through 28th at the Democrat National Convention in Philadelphia. Let's see. I just got an update from the Bernie Sanders campaign, and it's good that he's keeping in communication because of the two recent endorsements by President Barack Obama and Elizabeth Warren for Hillary Clinton's got a lot of people really nervous, shook, as it's sometimes called. It shook a lot of people, but this is an election. This is a primary. You challenge and you compete and you campaign and you just keep moving forward. And that's what Bernie's doing. He's moving forward. According to this update, he says in 3 days, we will be competing in Washington, D.C. for the primary. And they're going to be fighting for every vote until the polls close on Tuesday night. And then he says, from there, we will take our issues to the Democrat convention in Philadelphia next month. So Bernie Sanders is taking his issues to the Democratic convention. Let's see. But no matter what happens, the truth is that no president, not Bernie Sanders, not Hillary Clinton, can possibly imagine can address the enormous problems facing the working families of our country. It requires a movement. And so he's saying that movement consists of voting for up ballot and down ballot candidates. And so he's endorsing again. Let's see, he's got two progressives, and they're both incumbents. One is Rick Nolan of Minnesota. Let's see, I've got him on my Bernie Kratz list. Let's see if I can read a little bit about him. This is Rick Nolan of Minnesota, and he's the U.S. representative of the 8th District in Minnesota. And so his website is www.nolanforcongress.org, and he's also got Twitter and Facebook, and there's some information about his endorsement for Bernie Sanders on there. Bernie Sanders wants Rick Nolan in the Congress, and he says that this man represents one of the most competitive congressional districts in the country. Normally when that happens, the elected official moves to the right in order to protect their seat. Not Rick. His election is a great opportunity to prove one can serve as a progressive and still win a difficult race. So I think that's pretty interesting. Bernie Sanders is putting his progressive ideals on the line, and so is Congressman Nolan, saying that you can maintain progressive integrity, Elizabeth Warren, and still win a difficult race. And so, okay, the other person that Bernie Sanders is endorsing is Congressman Marcy Kaptur of Ohio. And I'm going to read a little bit about that. She is also an incumbent. I'm going to scroll down and see if I can quickly find her name. I was in the M's for Minnesota. Let me see how fast I can get down to the O's. Let's see. I'm in O. Okay. No, I passed it. I'm in Oregon. Oklahoma. Okay, there she is. She is the U.S. representative of Ohio in the 9th District, and her website is Marcy Kaptur. And so Bernie Sanders has a little bit about her. He says that she is a leading voice to adopt fair trade practices, policies, which not only raise wages in this country, but lift living standards throughout the world. She has been fighting for fair trade policy from the day she came to Congress. And he's determined to transform the Democrat Party with the assistance of these down ballot candidates. And so he says that this movement is about everyone, and that supporting Rick Nolan and Marcy Kaptur is an important extension of that work for a progressive movement. So Bernie Sanders believes in them, and if you're in Ohio, in that district, or if you're in Minnesota, maybe check them out, but make sure that you don't forget them on election when their elections come up. Okay, so all right, so I lost my place. So I did want to say that I did note that it didn't mention in this last notice from Bernie Sanders whether he was still contesting the convention. It does say that he's bringing the issues to the convention, and I think that's important too. I'm hoping that he would contest the convention, but if he's thinking of doing something else in another way, then that's what's going to happen. But it's important that those issues do get raised. I know that outside parties are definitely coming to Philadelphia to raise their issues. I'm going to speak a little bit more on the state of what's happening with the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party is at a crossroads, I believe. It's reached a point where the lesser of two evils, bullying, is just not working anymore. There's resistance to accepting that form of abuse from the party leaders. And so one way to counteract that resistance is actually to respond to the issues of the electorate rather than browbeat or bully or intimidating the electorate. Listen to the electorate and follow direction from the electorate who actually is paying salaries. Maybe not as much as Wall Street, but we are contributing our tax dollars to be represented politically in Washington. And so rather than saying, vote for me because what else are you going to do? Vote for me or Trump wins. Vote for the lesser evil. Stop being a spoiler. Nobody wants to hear that. No one's listening to that anymore. It's working less and less. The more that you say it, the less people are listening to you, Democrat Party. So it's not working. One of the things that you can do is listen to what the voters have been telling you all primary season through Bernie Sanders. And then maybe there won't be this kind of difficulty that's being experienced. For instance, we have seen Hillary Clinton outright refuse to listen to the progressive wing of her own party rather than seeking support from outside the party in order to bolster an appearance of strength. And that's not working either. And then also the fact that Barack Obama endorsed Hillary Clinton's flawed candidacy, as well as Elizabeth Warren endorsed Hillary Clinton's flawed candidacy. And by flawed, we mean a woman underneath two open and active FBI criminal investigations, and apparently multiple protests from the intelligence community saying that she is not fit. She is not fit for high office. She is not fit to be commander-in-chief. She is not fit to be an administrator for the intelligence community based on her own background. If they background checked her, she would never pass. And so they don't really want to have much to do with her. The FBI is investigating her. Who's next? the Department of Justice, maybe. There's a lot of issues, and so for the Democrat Party to throw its weight that way, it's just a sign and a symbol of how misdirected the party has become. I mean, we have a candidate who actually has splintered the party as a price of doing business for her ambition. And so, if that's what you call winning, I hate to see what you call losing. And, that we hear about the 3 million votes, we hear about the delegates and the super delegates, but those were purchased. If you have to buy your way, then, who cares? That's not really, I mean, you bought your way into the presidency and you're proud of that and you're okay. um, so, it's a concern. The voters and the electorate can see that it's just a disturbing kind of lack of leadership that's happening. And when I say a lack of leadership, the fact that Barack Obama compromised himself by endorsing someone who's possibly a criminal, and Elizabeth Warren compromised herself by endorsing someone who's anti everything that Elizabeth Warren claimed that she was. But we're looking at what people do and not what they say. And looking at Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Elizabeth Warren, we're looking at what is done rather than what's being said, and it's still kind of turning people off. I think people thought Elizabeth Warren was the solution to mollify the electorate that still, to this day, and will tomorrow, and the next week, all the way up until the primary, still want Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren is not Bernie Sanders. She never could be. She never was. She is not now, and she never could be Bernie Sanders. The people want Bernie Sanders, and they definitely do not want Hillary Clinton. As for me, myself, I respect Elizabeth Warren from an academic standpoint and for her clarity of thought, but not for her decision-making ability. I talked before about how she abdicated opportunities to support progressives and support a progressive cause when she could have campaigned with Bernie Sanders on those issues in the state of Massachusetts. She could have endorsed Bernie based on his platform easily. She could have stopped Bill Clinton from electioneering at a poll site and violating voter laws. And then she could have also stepped up when Hillary Clinton was accusing not only Bernie Sanders of being a sexist, but also his supporters of being a sexist. And each time Elizabeth Warren said nothing, which means she agreed, just to let that happen in her own state that she claims that she represents, and then take advantage of the opportunity that's possibly presented to her by Hillary Clinton as the VP spot. People are looking at that and they see that as poor character from start to finish. And so, again, Elizabeth Warren is not and never will be Bernie Sanders. The people want Bernie Sanders. They do not want Elizabeth Warren, not anymore. Maybe at one time they might have entertained the possibility, but not with this association with Hillary Clinton. Bernie's wing of the Democrat Party, and then also the independents and some Republicans that came out to vote and support for him, will not vote for and support Hillary Clinton. People voted for truth and progress and issues. They didn't vote for a cult of personality of Hillary Clinton. No one wants to have much of anything to do with her, whether Elizabeth Warren is the VP, whether someone else is the VP. They don't want any association with Hillary Clinton whatsoever. I mean, the only person who wants to associate with a criminal is another criminal. So there you go. Anyway, Bernie Sanders is going to be in Washington, D.C. on June 14th. He's going to be actively spreading his message of progressive change, reform, revolution, and then also speaking on issues specific to Washington, D.C., like statehood and things like that. Washington, D.C., you're getting the very best of Bernie Sanders next week. And I definitely hope Washington, D.C. shows up for the polling and votes up ticket for Bernie Sanders, and then down ballot as well for the one Bernie-crat that's on the ballot. See you next time.